Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So today, my name is Mila, you're my book nook. Don't forget that. Today I just wanted to talk through my R fantasy bingo TBR. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the subreddit r/fantasy on Reddit. An amazing place actually. It's quite certainly something else. They do a bingo board every year. There's a hard mode. There's a normal mode, there's a hard mode, and then I think there's a super reader mode, something like that. So I decided to make myself a little TBR because I actually caught it this time. They start April every year, and then it ends, I guess, in the March of the next year. So we have until March 31st, I think, roughly, I guess. Maybe it's April 1st to April 1st. I'm not too sure, but I caught it at the beginning. I actually was very much fooled by the April Fool's Bingo TBR. That was very funny. I was very confused. I was like, what are they doing? Anyways, so I made myself a bingo for the normal version and a bingo thing for the hard mode. So I'm planning on fulfilling both of those. So I'll just go through the normal and then I'll do the hard mode and stuff like that. So obviously I have the explanations, I have my books. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my computer. So without further ado, here is the normal mode bingo. So the first prompt we have is trans or non-binary protagonist. Story features a trans or non-binary protagonist. This protagonist must not be an alien or a robot. So the book I chose for this was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This came as a highly recommended book in like the threads of recommendations. So there's that. Next, we have judge a book by its title, read a book based on the title. This can be a title so epic you had to pick it up, or so weird and off-putting that you needed to know why it was called this. And the book I have for this is The Jinn-bot of Shantiport by Samit Basu. And honestly, the cover looks cool. I love a good, I don't know, sci-fi, like Star Wars. It's giving Star Wars. It's giving peak 90s Star Wars sci-fi, and that's all I really need to know. Next, we have translated. A story that has been translated from a language you don't read or speak. And I chose The Heart of the Nhaga by Lee Young-do. And this is translated by Anton Her. I believe you. And it is from Korean, and I do not speak Korean, despite me loving Korean literature and me being a huge K-pop fan. But that is neither here nor there. But anyways, next we have small press or self-published. Read a book published by a small press, not a big five publisher, or self-published. If a formerly self-published book gets picked up by a publisher, you can only count it if you read it before it was traditionally published. So the book I have for this is, I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been published by a big publisher. I thought it was, because I saw it in, got it from Indigo, which I don't think stocks a lot of, they do stock self-published books, but not a lot of them. You have to be, looking for it, and the author has to, anyways, it's a whole other thing. And for this, I chose The Sword of Kaigen by Emma Long. I have nothing more to say. I have nothing more to say. Next, we have unusual transportation. Story includes a surprising method of moving from place to place. By unusual, we mean that it is outside of the ordinary in real life and uncommon to the book's broader genre. In this one, I chose Asunder by Kirsten Hall. I don't remember what the unusual transportation was, but I'm very intrigued to find out. Next, we have The Afterlife. Story deals with the realm of the dead. This could be communicating with the dead, spirits transferring over, or being set in the afterlife itself. And I chose weavingshaw for this, and the cover's cool. I'm very intrigued. It blew up at some point, so I gotta get to it. Next, we have Game Changer. Story features a game or competition. This was probably the easiest for both modes, and you'll see why when I get to the hard mode Game Changer version. So for the normal mode, we have Race the Sands by Sarah Beth Durst. And there's like a competition. It is a competition of some kind. So yeah, and there's also like a chimera. It's a chimera. Yeah. Next, we have Vacation Spot. Story takes place somewhere you'd want to visit, either fictional or non-fictional. This is subjective as everyone has different tastes. A cozy cottage at the edge of the sea, a mansion in the fantasy Alps, a cruise ship in the stars. Anything can count as long as you think you would enjoy visiting this world. So I chose The League of Gentlewomen Witches by India Holton, and I've actually read this, and I gave it a 4.5, 4.75, something like that. Next, we have 5 short stories. Read any 5 speculative fiction short stories. And I chose Tales of Merlin, Arthur, and the Magic Arts by Alice Griffith. I hope I'm saying that correctly. From the Welsh Chronicles of the 6 Ages of the World. So this one was also, I think, recommended in the thread of like recommendations. So it looked interesting. I love anything with Merlin and Arthur and all that stuff. So there's that. Next, we have Older Protagonist. Story features a main character who is at least 50 years old. And I chose Daughter of Crows for this by Mark Lawrence, and I've actually read it since. I give it 3 stars. I was not amused. Well, no, I was amused. It's difficult. It's a difficult one to actually grasp what I actually thought of it. Like, I'm so neutral about it. I don't even know where I stand at this point. Anyways, whatever. I kind of wiped most of the story from my head because I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Anyways, whatever. Next, we have Duology Part 1. Read the first book in Duology, and I have The Witch Roads by Kate Elliott for this one. Next, we have Our Fantasy Book Club or Read Along Book. Tackle any past or active R/fantasy book clubs or past or active R/fantasy read alongs. Full list of book clubs here. I'm having trouble speaking. And I chose The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez for this one. We continue. Published in 2026. Read a book published for the first time in 2026. No reprints or new editions. Agnes Oberd's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett is my choice. It has so many TBRs at this point. Explorers and Rangers. Story features an explorer, a character who travels to and investigates an unfamiliar region, or a ranger, a wilderness or forest-oriented warrior, frequently specializing in things like stealth, bows, tracking, and other hunting-related skills. One of the rules that I forgot to mention at the beginning was you are only allowed 1 book that is a reread. And for this one, I chose Fellowship of the Ring. So, it does have a ranger. It has the one and the only Strider. So, there's that. Duology Part 2 is our next prompt. Read the second book in Duology, and I chose The Nameless Land, which is the second book in the Witch Roads series by Kate Elliott. So, yeah, you're not supposed to have repeats, but for this square, you are allowed to read the same author you used for Duology Part 1 without violating the no repeat author rule. So, there's that. Next, we have one-word title. Story has a one-word title. For this, I chose Fishes by V.E. Schwab. Next, we have non-human protagonist. Story features a main character who's not human. And I chose The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. Middle grade. Read a middle grade book intended for readers aged 8 to 12. See the Wikipedia page for additional information. And I chose Farah Norzad and the Ring of Fate by Diba Zargarpur. Wow. This is a friend of mine. So, yay. Next we have First Contact. Prominently features interspecies or interracial meeting for the first time. And I chose Elder Raised by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Next we have Murder Mystery. Main plot of the story focuses on solving a murder. And I chose The Tainted Cup. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I apparently cannot speak. Yeah. Next, we have Cat Squasher. Read a book over 500 pages in length. An omnibus book, multiple novels in one volume, doesn't count for this. So I chose Titan Child, which is the second book in the Talon duology. And it is over 500 pages. At first, I chose A Storm of Swords for this one, and then I think I had Titan Child for the hardboard version, but then I realized that, anyways, I switched around. It's all good now. Next, we have Feast Your Eyes on this. Food or a meal is significant to the story's plot. And I have 7 Recipes for Revolution by Ryan Rose. I do believe we follow a cook in this one. Next, we have Published in the 70s. Read a book that was first published anytime between 1970 and 1971. This was so difficult because I wanted to put Juliette Marillier, I think, at some point. Was it Juliette? No. It was difficult because I wanted to put Patricia A. McKillop for the hard mode version of this, but I couldn't because I chose... Anyways, it was also a whole thing. And I chose The Forgotten Beasts of Eld by Patricia A. McKillop. Wow. I wanted to put another book by Patricia A. McKillop for the... I think I wanted to put Alphabet of Thorns for the hard mode, but anyways. Next we have politics and court intrigue. Politics are central to the story's plot. This covers everything from royalty, elections, and wars to smaller local politics. And I chose To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monocle Blackgoose. And lastly, for normal mode, we have Author of Color, a story written by a person of color. And I chose A Song of Legends Lost by M.A. Ainde. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So now we move on to hard mode. So I'm going to repeat the explanations and then I'll add in the hard mode version, I guess. So trans/non-binary protagonist, the hard mode for this is set in a pre-modern time period. And I chose She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. Next, we have Judge a Book by its title. And the hard mode is dive in without reading the blurb or any summaries. So I chose There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, a novel by QNTM. The amount of times this is a bit cheating. I've read the synopsis a couple times, but I've also glazed over it. It's almost like I'm not fully grasping. So I actually have no idea what it's about. Beyond the title, I generally don't. Next, we have translated, so a story that has been translated from a language you don't read or speak. And the hard mode is first translated into your language within the last 5 years. And I chose Blood of the Old Kings by Sung Il Kim, also translated by Anton Her. This is another Korean book, so there's that. Next, we have small press or self-published. I feel like that's self-explanatory. I don't have to repeat that. But the hard mode for this book has under 100 ratings on Goodreads, or is by an author from a marginalized group. And the book I chose for this, it's very niche, but it's very me. In a Certain Kingdom, Epic Heroes of the Roost, translated and retold by Nicholas Kotar. And this book has 27 Goodreads ratings on Goodreads. And I don't think I've ever seen a number that low. In the 6 years that I've been doing books around, I've never seen a number that low for a book that's been published for quite a while, actually. We continue. Next, we have Unusual Transportation. Again, story includes a surprising method of moving from place to place. The hard mode is transportation is not combustion-powered or steam-powered. And the book I chose for this is Slow Gods by Claire North. I believe the ship is an entity in of itself. Something like that. I might be totally wrong. Do not quote me on this, but the subreddit said that this was a good one, so I chose it. I've been wanting to read Claire North for a while. So next we have Afterlife. The hard mode for this is the afterlife does not depict a good place versus bad place dichotomy. And so I chose Mort by Terry Pratchett. It's about time I get a Terry Pratchett book. I have one sitting on my shelf. It's been sitting on my shelf for like 2 years at this point. A year and a half at this point, probably. I need to get to Terry Pratchett. I know he's good. I know. But then we have Game Changers. Story features a game or competition. The hard mode is the protagonist bends or breaks the rules in some way. My book for this, say it with me, the second book of Dungeon Crawler Carl, called Carl's Doomsday Scenario, or Scenario, however you want to say it. I'm Canadian, so I don't know. I don't know. Vacation Spot. I don't think I chose the right book for this, but it is what it is. And to be honest, it would be a very cool place to visit. So the hard mode for this, there is no hard mode. And it says, you deserve a break. If I appeared in this book, I don't think I would last past the first few pages. And that is because the book is The Griffin King by Sarah Omer. This is set in a West Asia inspired, like Southwest Turkic nomads, steppes of Central Asia world with like, man-eating horses, man-eating pegasi, and griffins. I would not survive my ancestors rolling in the grave right now. Next, we have 5 short stories. The hard mode is read an entire anthology or collection, must contain at least 5 stories. And I chose Across the Wall by Garth Nix. This is stories from the Old Kingdom series that he does, which I really love. Next, we have Older Protagonist. Story features a main character who is at least 50 years old. The hard mode is the protagonist does not have exceptional longevity or immortality, so it's not an elf, dwarf, vampire, god. And I chose A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. And I was below the threshold once I hit April, so this does count, I believe. So this has 2 POVs, and one of them is an older lady. I believe she's over 50, or at least 50. Next, we have Duology Part 1. The hard mode is by an author you haven't read before, and I chose a memory called Empire by Arkady Martin. Next, we have the Our Fantasy Book Club / read along. The hard mode is partake in a current selection of either a book club or read along and participate in the discussion. I don't have time for this, so I'm just going to read the book and maybe post a review on Reddit, and I'll call it a day. Is it kind of cheating? Sure, whatever. For fun. This is for fun. So I chose The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. This has been on many lists as well. Next, we have published in 2026, and the hard mode for this is it's the author's first published novel, and I chose The Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki. Next, we have Explorers and Rangers, features an explorer, and the hard mode is the explorer or ranger has an animal companion, and I chose A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Duology Part 2, I chose, the hard mode is finish a different duology than you started for the duology Part 1 square. So I chose Sybil's Secret by Juliet Marillier. This technically is a companion to the first book, but I'm counting it anyways. And I'm going to read the first book first. Anyways, so there's that. Next, we have one word title. The hard mode is title is not a proper noun, no names of people or places, and I chose Rusalka. Although, is that a noun? It's not the name of a person. So it's a creature. So I don't think that counts. I think it counts. So next we have non-human protagonist. Story features a main character who's not human. Hard mode, there are no human POVs in the story, and I chose Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. Middle grade, a hard mode is the author is entirely new to you, and I chose The Barren Grounds by David A. Robertson. It's a graphic novel, so there's that too. First Contact, the hard mode for this is non-violent first contact, and I chose Space Opera by Catherine M. Valente. Murder mystery, main plot of the story focuses on solving a murder. The hard mode is the main character is not a detective or private investigator, and I chose The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. Cat Squasher, read a book over 500 pages in length. The hard mode is read a book over 900 pages, and I chose A Storm of Swords for this, and I was below the threshold for this to count. Feast your eyes on this. This is the food one, and hard mode is attempt at making a dish from the story for yourself. I don't think I'm actually gonna do that, but what I chose for this is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I hope I said that correctly. Published in the 70s, the hard mode was written by a woman from the 1970s, and I chose The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. That's one I found interesting. I think it's Arthur. Yeah, it's Arthurian. Next, we have Politics and Court Intrigue. Politics are central to the story's plot. La la la. The hard mode is there's a prominent focus on politics at a city level or lower, and I chose The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. And lastly, author of color, story written by a person of color. The hard mode, oh my god, this was so difficult. This was so hard. The hard mode is the story, the author does not live in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. It was so difficult to find someone. I chose the second volume of Free Rin, and as far as I'm aware, the author does not live in any of those places. As far as I'm aware, the author lives potentially, probably, highly probable, in Japan. So that is it for this video. I know it's a little chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books you would put for certain stuff, and if you think some of these will count, those that I was like, I guess, a bit unsure of. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all my socials, especially my Instagram. I'm more active on there. Check out my other videos. I've got plenty of TBR style videos. And as usual, I will see you in the next one. And as always, happy reading.